Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea called the Keystone Habit. We're going to break down how focusing on just one single strategic change can create this incredible domino effect across your entire life. So let's just start with this question. What if you didn't need to overhaul your entire life all at once? What if there was just one habit that could kind of naturally cause everything else to start falling into place? It might sound a little too good to be true, but it's a very, very real thing. So, what is this magic thing called? It's a keystone habit. And the best way to think about it is like the first domino in a huge line. Once you give that first one a little push, this chain reaction starts, and it knocks over all the others without you having to lift another finger. That's the kind of power we're talking about here. Now, it's super important to understand that not all good habits are created equal. Take brushing your teeth. It's a great habit, right? We should all do it, but it's pretty isolated. It's probably not going to inspire you to go balance your checkbook. Daily exercise, on the other hand, is a classic keystone habit. It starts as one single action, but pretty soon it sparks changes in what you eat, how well you sleep, and even how confident you feel. Okay, so how does this actually work? It's not magic. There's some real psychology behind this whole ripple effect. So let's break down exactly why one small change can have such a massive, massive impact. It really boils down to three key things. First, it starts to change how you see yourself, your identity. You stop just doing exercise and you start seeing yourself as a healthy person. Second, this creates momentum. Those little wins build up your confidence, and that makes the next, bigger change feel way less scary. And finally, this starts to reshape your other behaviors, almost on autopilot. That new habit just becomes a natural trigger for other good choices. This quote just gets to the heart of it perfectly. These habits are contagious, but in the best possible way. Once you get one going, it doesn't just stay in its own little box. It starts to, infect other parts of your life with positivity and discipline. Let's look at this in action with a classic, real-world example, starting a regular exercise routine. It is, seriously, one of the most studied and powerful keystone habits out there. So what's so fascinating is what all the research shows. People who start exercising, even just once a week, they often just naturally start eating better. They tend to smoke less, they feel less stressed out, and they even report being more productive at work. The exercise itself is just the spark that ignites this whole cascade of other amazing benefits. But here's the thing, a keystone habit doesn't have to be something as intense as hitting the gym. Let's look at a surprisingly powerful and much simpler example, the tiny act of making your bed every single morning. I know, this seems almost too small to even matter, right? But what people report over and over is that starting your day with this one tiny completed task gives you a little hit of pride and a sense of control. It actually improves your mood and encourages you to keep your room and then, by extension, your whole day more organized. It's a tiny win that sets a really positive tone. And this whole concept applies across all areas of life. Regularly having family dinners can actually improve kids' grades. Tracking your spending makes you way more mindful of your finances. A simple morning journaling practice can bring incredible mental clarity. Each one is just a different starting point for its own unique ripple effect. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now, let's make this personal. How do you find the one habit that's going to create the biggest positive ripple in your life? Well, it all starts with asking yourself the right questions. Here are the three you really need to think about. First, what single change would have the biggest knock-on effect, making all your other goals feel simpler? Second, which activity genuinely gives you a boost of energy and positivity? Because you're way more likely to stick with something that feels good. And finally, and this is a big one, what habit aligns with the person you actually want to become? So once you've identified a potential keystone habit, the next step is actually doing it. Because knowing this stuff isn't enough. You got to put it into action. Here's a simple 4-step plan to not just get started, but to really make it stick. Making a new habit stick usually comes down to a pretty simple formula. 1, start ridiculously small. I mean it, a 5-minute walk, not an hour-long sweat session. 2, anchor it. Attach your new habit to something you already do every single day without thinking. 3, track it. Seeing your streak grow builds some powerful momentum. And 4, protect it. Treat this one habit like it's the most important appointment of your day. And please, please remember this. The single biggest reason people fail is that they get way too ambitious. They try to change 10 things all at once, they get overwhelmed, and then they just quit everything. The absolute magic of this approach is its focus. Pick one thing, master it, and then let the ripple effect do the heavy lifting for you. This quote perfectly captures the deepest reason this all works. It's a powerful, self-reinforcing loop. Your behavior reinforces your identity, and then your identity drives your behavior. You start a small new habit, which slowly shifts how you see yourself. As that identity changes, the habit becomes more automatic, which in turn makes that new identity even stronger. Ultimately, you're not just doing something different, you're becoming someone different. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Take a look at your life right now, your goals, your dreams. What is the one domino that if you finally just gave it a little nudge would set everything else in motion? Find it, start small, and then just watch what happens next.